Hello, and welcome to ASB TDC TV, a product of a partnership between the University of Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center and the Northwest Arkansas Council Small Business Emergency Assistance Program. In this series, we're talking with small businesses, experts, and ASB TDC consultants about the relevant and right now topics and solutions for small business. I'm Amy Robinson.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Case, and we're here today with Melissa and Carla. And Melissa, I'm going to actually start with you because Beautiful Lives is such a great venture and a combination of a lot of good and rolled up in one. Can you explain that to us a little bit more?
Sure. Thank you. And thank you all so much for the chance to get to share today. Yeah. So Beautiful Lives Boutique is a nonprofit thrift boutique that resells donated women's clothing, shoes, and accessories and handbags. We have 3 locations in Northwest Arkansas, physical locations. We have a Fayetteville, a Bentonville, and a Siloam Springs store. We're also running 2 online shops right now, Shop BLV Bentonville and Shop BLV Fayetteville.com. And yeah, so the whole reason that we exist is to generate revenue to support nonprofit organizations in our community and around the world that are supporting women who are experiencing situations of vulnerability and crisis. So we really are all about affecting the most amount of community change that we can. And we know that in order to have the happiest, healthiest communities, you need to resource and empower the women of those communities. So we donate this just in July. We made a $4,000 contribution to 10 different nonprofit organizations that are helping women who are experiencing homelessness or poverty, trafficking in person, sex trafficking, women who need some mental health services after a crisis and things like that. So that's at the heart of what we do. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring with me today my very good friend Carla Thompson. She is the founder and executive director of an incredible nonprofit called Divan Community Outreach. And as I have said many times before, Beautiful Lives Boutique is all about these nonprofit partnerships. And so I can't ever really fully explain our mission or talk about that without bringing in one of those nonprofit partners, because the work that Carla does is the reason why Beautiful Lives Boutique exists. So Carla, could you share a little bit?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Carla Thompson. I am the founder of Diva Community Outreach and Training Center. We actually started it just as Diva. We were only working with women. We run an empowerment program. Anything that the underserved, the impoverished need, we give them life skills classes. We run an entrepreneurship program with them now. We could try to go in and find their gifts and talents and build a whole business around that. All of the people that are in my programs, they are all either re-entry from prison or they're on probation and parole. So that is my target. And in that population, you get those who've been trafficked, those who are domestic violence, and that donation that Melissa was talking about. So much need right now in the nonprofit world. One of the challenges that a lot of us are seeing is, of course, funding. And in my program, part of what I do so they're not stressing out and increasing their mental health issues, I try to help fund food, hygiene, gas. During COVID, I have had the opportunity to even pay rent. Get some of my homeless folks, put them in a hotel for a few days until we figure out what the next step is. So what Beautiful Lives is doing for my organization is definitely a godsend. The check I received, I was so excited about it, right on time, because I had 2 young ladies who were living in a car. And so I got to use those funds to help get them some food and get them some shelter until we figured out Plan B.
That's amazing. Well, for both of you, one, this is it's a unique model. And so, we talk a lot to small businesses, and you are a retailer. So we definitely want you to dive into what the retail aspect of survival in this through COVID looks like for you. And then definitely going into more of just the beautiful thing about Beautiful Lives is the ripple effect that you're creating. So you have a business and a business model, something that is producing money, that is a revenue stream, so that money can go directly to services. And then Carla, we'd love to talk a little bit more about some of those funding challenges. And then I think that probably the umbrella through all of this is who you're serving, because one of the things that we don't think enough about is who is being affected even that much more through not having as many options, places to go, and especially in domestic violence situations and some other things. So let's start a little bit, Melissa, with some of the pivots that you made with Beautiful Lives. That you have done to stay up and running.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So definitely so many challenges, right? And it would have been, I think it would have been a challenge on kind of either front, but we have both things happening simultaneously, where the needs for our nonprofit partners were increasing substantially because of the crisis, while at the same time, the business side of this, the retail side of Beautiful Lives Boutique, was being heavily impacted as well. And so we were kind of feeling that squeeze and that pinch pretty seriously. And I think when we first started to sort of see the writing on the wall, to see that the pandemic was coming, we knew that we needed to be able to pivot quickly, which I think is really important for organizations in a time like this, to be able to say, I see this coming, let's not wait this out too long or hemorrhage some of our overhead costs and things like that before we start to try to move in a different direction. And so back in March, we really quickly, even before any of the mandates or instructions from the government came, we closed down our in-store shopping experience. And with that, we decided to launch an online shopping experience. So for me, working in retail, like any type of e-commerce was really something that was new for me, let alone doing e-commerce thrift, which has a lot of challenges logistically. And so we have been building that out over the past 4 to 5 months and have learned a lot of lessons that have been, it's one of those moments. If I could tell myself then what I know now, we could have probably saved ourselves some trouble. But really and truly, the transition to the online e-commerce side of things was pretty seamless. And I am so grateful to the community that really rallied around us and jumped in. So we have a really supportive kind of customer base that engages with us and just is along for this crazy wild ride that we're on. And as soon as we launched that e-commerce website, the orders started coming in. And so we're really thankful that we were able to continue generating some revenue. We're also part of the New Heights Church organization, and our leader, that was a part of that, the directional leader in the Fayetteville church, was able to help secure some of this assistance. So to help us with some employment issues that we were facing with having to have layoffs. And we had to do that for a temporary period of time, but then we were able to get some funding to help us bring back on our staff. And so we put the entire staff toward trying to build out this thrift e-commerce side of our business. And so right now we have reopened, and we are currently getting very close. I think it's exciting to see that with this both and approach of in-store and online, we're getting to a place where we're really thankful to be very close to being really solvent. There's still challenges. It doesn't feel quite as comfortable as it felt before, but we have right now, our online revenue represents about 1/3 of our entire revenue. So while we have seen that the traffic inside of the store and sales inside of the store have had a substantial decrease, we have been able to counter that by moving into the online world. And just a couple of the challenges with that is that, in a typical retail environment, when you are selling clothing online, you would be able to take one photo of the garment or a couple of photos of the garment, and then you'd have lots of inventory and volume behind that garment. So the time and the labor that you spent getting the photo, getting it online, getting the description, all of that is going to have a much higher return on investment. Well, when it comes to thrift, we're selling items at the $3, $5, $7, and $10 price point. But each garment is unique and individual. And so every garment requires a photo, and every garment requires an upload, and then all of that fulfillment that goes into that. So it's pretty labor intensive, but just from the kind of a cost benefit perspective, but it is really exciting to see that we were able to have that option to maintain employment through some of the hardest periods of the shutdown, and then now to be able to continue functioning and operating because we were able to diversify that revenue stream.
So
That's
it
great.
sounds like, and I don't know how many people know that PPP and EIDL are available to nonprofits. That's not traditional that some of those SBA funds have been, but through this pandemic, those are. So that's great that you were able to take advantage of that. You know, we hear a lot from restaurants because they were first to be open, and so in the retail space, one of the questions that I have is about what that experience is when you walk into the store, and how you maintain safety, and then you've got physical clothing items that you're dealing with. It's not food that's consumed and then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right. Correct.
So what does that look like right now?
Yeah. So again, that was another thing. At the same time, trying to build out an entire thrift e-commerce business, which was so far outside of any of my background or professional expertise in any way. So making that up as we went, and then also having to make up sort of as we were going, what does it look like to keep people safe? And there, for me, are really two considerations when it comes to safety and some of the policies that we've enacted. And of course, the first and foremost consideration is the safety of our customers, the people who are coming into the store. But we also have to think about the safety of our staff and think about the operation and setting ourselves up for us to continue to be sustainable. And what we know about COVID is that when someone is ill, that there is a quarantine period. Other people who've been exposed to that person have to go and get tested and potentially have more quarantine. And so for me, from a really practical perspective, having the highest levels of safety measures that we can is the way that we care about individual people, but it's also the way that we care about the operation, and we care about keeping it going, to keep it as a place of employment, and to keep being able to support our partners like Carla. So inside of our store, all of our staff is required to wear masks at all times inside of the building. And our customers, we highly encourage that. That's also being mandated now by the governor. So we're not seeing a lot of people not wearing masks. But they come into the store, and you're correct that we have clothing here that gets tried on. So just a couple of the quick measures that we have done. We have our go back rack in retail world. That's where you hang the clothing that's been tried on. And we do not restock it on an ongoing basis. We leave it on that go back rack and restock it the following day. And we have some signage up that says this clothing has been tried on by another customer, you know, at your own risk, you can try it on or purchase it, whatever you would like. Because we know that if you're pulling on clothing, it's usually kind of going over your face and mouth and things like that. And I think a lot of our customers are keeping their mask on while they're inside the dressing room as well. So just trying to really keep us moving, to keep people employed, to keep our nonprofits getting that support is the highest priority for me. So all of the usual things, the distancing and the masks and the hand washing, and having a lower threshold for illness, for people who come into the store, we really ask people to be really thoughtful and careful about that in terms of our team. But so far, our team, knock on all of the wood, has stayed really healthy. And I think that actually a lot of the mandates that are coming about the wearing of the masks has actually improved our traffic and our sales. I think it's given the customer more of a confidence to come out, because they will have a sense, for right or for wrong, or whatever, 20 years from now we'll have more information, but that gives them a sense that they're going to be more protected. And I think it's giving some customers a sense that they can get out a little bit more. If they're wearing their mask, they know everyone else is. The day actually after the governor passed the mask mandate, we were up like 50% on our traffic and our sales.
Great.
So it's pretty substantial to see that taking these measures, but still offering people that's some fun, a bit of an escape to like come in, like it's fun what we do here. It's clothing and we
Right.
have a coffee bar and all of those things. So yeah,
It's fun. I mean, what you're doing, it's fun to support you and buy clothes. I mean, what other things do us women want? But so
exactly.
with you, you know, we know how to support Melissa. That's really fun. We
Yes.
away with clothing.
Yes.
How can everybody and our listeners support you?
Are you talking to Carla?
Carla, yes.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm curious, adding to that, kind of how it works. So I don't know that you're not a traditional nonprofit, and so coming into your store, people just assume, hey, I'm going into this really cool store. So so how does the relationship and the partnerships work when it comes to the nonprofit side of things? Love to hear.
That's such a great question. From our perspective here, it's really just been about finding those organizations that I have a background working in the government and working for nonprofits. So I have a really strong conviction about the power of resourcing women and how that changes entire communities. So I knew at first that I really wanted to get to work with nonprofits that were doing a lot of sustainable work inside of the community. I think there's a lot that's so valuable about emergency relief, but what I really appreciate about Carla's program and many of the programs that we fund is there's all of that life skills training. The idea is really to get people set up and to have that dignity of moving forward with, just with their own work and with their own progress that they're making in their lives. And so I know that if I'm going to invest anywhere, I want to invest it in something that I think is going to have maximum return on investment, and the sustainable life skills and all of the training and the things that Carla's doing while also meeting people's urgent kind of emergency needs was just such a win-win. So meeting Carla, I was just hooked from day one about her work. So I'd love for her to share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Carla, how do we get a hold of you? Tell us a little bit more about you.
Oh my gosh.
The $1 million question.
Yeah. How do you get a hold of me? 479-235-0313 is I don't mind. It blows up all day long anyway. I love what I do. I'm one of the newer nonprofits. I call myself the kid on the block. Even though I've been doing this in some form or fashion, I think I just celebrated 35 years. I started taking in teens when I was 17. I wasn't the best back then, but we grew. And one of the ways you can really contact me is Shop Beautiful Lives. Melissa, she is phenomenal about making sure, even in between donations, just checking on me. Carla, what's the need? They held a food drive for me. I think it was right pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And she set up this whole food drive and didn't tell me. And then calls me and said, okay, Carla, I need you to come pick up this food. I'm like, what food? So, but what we do, I really love what we do. I think one of the challenges that I have is funding for a nonprofit because I'm new, and I'm not traditional in any means. I do have my master's in psychology. I do not use any of it. I use that just human compassion and love. People need real life because they have real life struggles. So my organization is not very cookie cutter. It depends on the need of the client who walks in the door. Some moms just need gas to get back home. Some need utilities. They need, help with the rent. And when they come and they need all that, we're sitting down, we're looking at budgets. Okay, I need to know where your money goes. And it was during that process where I realized that we have a lot of side hustles, illegal side hustles. So I started consulting how to legalize the hustle. And it moved into a whole entrepreneur program, which I can so relate to because my past is not that clean either. And I kind of had to do that shift as well. So I'm pouring everything that I've experienced into people who are in the system, in the judicial system. And especially the women, you talking about the confidence, that it is building, even COVID. You know, we're staying in contact, we're on Zoom, we're in classroom, they have access to me via phone, you know, just to be able to help those little bitty needs and big needs to
Mhm.
keep them from relapsing.
Carla, we talked a little bit about how this shift in COVID is for you, and one of the things Melissa was talking about is she's wanting to invest in sustainable programs. So you mentioned Google Classroom and some curriculum and some of those things. So what if someone were to reach out to you right now today? What would that experience look like while we're in this highly digital world?
If they reached out to me today, you know, depending on the need for the Google Classroom, it is a entrepreneurship program. So right now I have a growing waiting list to get into that class. We're finalizing the program now. When pre-COVID, we met one time in this phenomenal business studio I had created for them. We got to meet one time. And I'm like, you know, but quickly moved over to online so we wouldn't miss a beat. So right now, if they reached out to me, I would get their name and information and say, okay, give me a moment. We're finishing up this program, which ends with a competition. And they get to, whoever wins this competition of, you know, they're going to talk about their lean canvas and their business plan. They're going to walk away with $1,000, a new computer, and a printer so they can continue their journey. Well, I'm actually going to let all of the participants keep their laptop
Oh,
because I want them to continue their business journey. I don't want them to give up on the dream. And I'm a follow-up queen. I will be checking on them 6 months after the program is done.
Good.
But
in my life.
I am. I'm the girl. I show up at your door if you go missing on me. You know.
I love
So
that so much.
this,
So tell us a
yeah.
little bit. I love that. So tell us a little bit from both of your perspectives, some of the needs that have changed and grown, and what that climate looks like. So Carla, the women that are coming to see you, and what has changed for them during COVID. What does that look like? Just so
The
we.
need has increased. The
Yeah.
need is increased.
Mhm.
And what I'm doing to resolve that, I'm trying to follow the pattern, you know, that Beautiful Lives is doing here. I am starting to collaborate more in the community. Um, I am a giver, and then you know, realizing that can't do this all by myself. So I'm reaching out. I work a lot with the Bell Project, of course, Melissa. I can reach out to her for who do you know? You know, uh, Jenny Sorey, even Becky Schaefer. I can reach out to a lot of people in the community and say, hey, this is what I need. Do you know who does this? So I think the collaboration across nonprofits just has to increase right now. We've got to bring all of our knowledge and all of our tools to the table just so we can impact this community the more, you know. So that's what I'm doing. But the need just across the board has grown, you know, from personal hygiene, food, you know, utilities. Oh my gosh, utilities, because now we have children who are at home. And when children are at home, they're eating more, utilities are going up, you know, and kids can eat. They will clean out a refrigerator. So I try to service snacks. So, you know, my goal right now is to keep those stressors down. Keep those stresses down. Let's breathe. It's going to be okay. Sitting down with them, okay, let's talk about what do you need. And of course, sit down is via Zoom or phone. And because a lot of times when you get in that stressor mode, it's just like, the world is ending, you know. And no, let's sit down and let's try to find what is it that you really need. Because a mom, especially a low income mom, one thing missing and it seems like it's really big, but it's not really always that big. So let's find out what the core needs are and let's try to prioritize those and address those first. So, and it's been a lot of that going on, and just, you know, trying to keep their anxiety low, you know, because they're like, oh my gosh, it's been a lot of frantic women
Yeah, me one of them. Me probably more than any of them. Carla has to come around to me all the time. So let's
Yeah,
just
she had her
breathe
moment too.
and let's
So,
prioritize and let's calm down. Yeah. So I get that.
We
same
need more.
comment.
We need more of you, Carla. If we could
Yes.
I
replicate
know.
you, that would be
You two
great.
are definitely, the world needs you.
oh, thank you.
Both of you.
Yeah. So it's funny because when the world needs me, but I'm like, some days it's like, and so, but I now have
Feels
people in my
overwhelmed.
world that I can reach out to and say, okay, I'm having a moment today. But we're
Yes.
doing a lot more collaboration. We have to going forward. We've got to learn how to play together in the nonprofit sector, so we can really impact this community.
I love that. That is a fantastic note for us to close up on and make sure that people can get in touch with you. That is probably one of our most important things right now. So Carla, you put your number out there, and please, if you have a website or any other way to contact you, and then Melissa, if you'll tell us where your locations are, and you gave us a little bit at the front end, but we want to make sure that everybody has your contact information. So
Yeah.
let us have it.
Okay, yeah, so we have, as I mentioned, 3 locations, Fayetteville, Siloam Springs, and Bentonville. If you're located in Fayetteville, the closest store to you will be that location off of Township. If you can navigate your way to the Onyx Coffee Lab, it's just up the street from there. Here in Bentonville, we are on 14th Street and Main Street, and in Siloam Springs, they are in the downtown area, which is a really strategic location. We also, as I mentioned, have the 2 online shopping sites, shopblbfayetteville.com and shopblbbentonville.com, and you can find some really, really great finds, like all the Lululemon leggings anybody needs for a very low price. I know those are in high demand right now with everybody working from home. And then also we have all of our socials. We're really active on each Instagram page. It's at Beautiful Lives Bentonville, at Beautiful Lives Fayetteville. There's different accounts, and at Beautiful Lives Siloam Springs. If you're interested in reaching out to me, super easy. My email is melissa@beautifullivesboutique.com. Or if you want to stop in any store, all of our leadership, we have cards up at the cash registers. You can talk to any staff or on-site managers, and they will make sure to get you in touch with someone if you're interested in learning more about what we're doing or supporting in any way. And last plug, if anybody needs to clean out their closets, we are in high need of donations. We are in high need of gently used women's clothing, running both the online shops and the in-store experiences. We have a need for clothing more than we ever have. So grab a trash bag, clean out your closet, bring it to any Beautiful Lives location.
Perfect.
Love that. That's perfect. And Carla?
Carla Thompson. I am at the Center for Nonprofits in Rogers, Suite 1500. I just moved again. Let's see, gave you my phone number, admin@divaworld.org, or you can find us online at divaindude.org.
I love it so much. Well, thank you all for joining us. And if you're listening or watching, thank you for joining us. If you have a suggested topic, a question you need answered, someone like Carla and Melissa that you'd like to hear from, or a story that you'd like to share, please contact us at bizhelp, BUSHELP, @uark.edu and put TV in the subject line. If you are interested in benefiting from our free one-on-one consulting assistance, please sign up at sbtdc.uark.edu. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. We just love the work that you do, and thank you for taking time to share it with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Bye.